Okay, so for this video what we're going to look at is Gothic style lettering. And the one thing that you need to know about Gothic style lettering, why it was created, well, it helps people understand a drawing, especially words on a drawing. You can create something and no one not know what you're talking about, so why don't you add some words to it? It helps everybody understand what's going on this drawing. Also, the American National Standards Institute, they're the one who's responsible for creating uppercase Gothic style lettering and also all these other standards that we have in drafting. So you have this information written on this drawing. It's easily understood once you use Gothic style lettering. Notes are very functional and very important for sketches. Sometimes even on a sketch, no one really knows what you're talking about, but if you have some notes, it'll help people understand. Also, it helps complete the idea, and the overall appearance of your drawing or sketch is then looking a lot better just because you use uppercase Gothic style lettering. One of the major things that you need to know about uppercase Gothic style lettering is that all the letters look uniform. One letter looks the same all the time. It doesn't change anything. Your spacing in between letters and also words, they're also the same. Matter of fact, if you can put the letter O inside a word like so, then you got great Gothic style spacing. As I put right here, single strokes. When you're writing your letters, you want them to be a single stroke, such as L or T. Each piece is a single stroke. It's not a go back over it. No, that's wrong. Single stroke letters for each part of your line. There are two tools that you're going to typically use when using Gothic style lettering. The Ames lettering guide, and it kind of looks like this, and it has a circular piece here with dots and measurements as well. I know there's a couple of dots here also on the side, but basically it helps you create guidelines for your letters. It doesn't help you create the letters, it helps you create guidelines for it. A lettering template, it kind of also looks like another tool that you might know, a template. But again, it helps you create guidelines as well. You have to create the letters. You have to actually be neat about drawing the shape of the letters when you're using the guides. They just help you create guidelines. Okay, when you do create your guidelines, you're going to have your horizontal guidelines that you automatically draw to help you create your words. Okay, now you're also going to have vertical guidelines as well. Now, horizontal guidelines, they help keep everything the same height. The vertical guidelines, they help you from keeping your letters from slanted. Gothic style lettering, the most basic format is uppercase vertical Gothic style lettering. So to keep the letters from slanting, you can also use a vertical guideline. Okay? Now, these guidelines, when you do draw them, they're so light and so thin that you don't need to erase them. So when you do draw them, imagine me using this marker now, right? I'm drawing objects on my paper, and then I need to create guidelines for my letters. Okay. I can't really draw light with a marker, a black marker, but I can draw thin. And you want to use like the 9H lead or the 8H lead to create those very light, very thin guidelines for when you're going to use Gothic style lettering to help to do those guidelines. Last but not least, okay, so we're talking about these letters and how tall they are. They should be 0.125. The height of your numbers, they should be 0.125. the height of your fractions, they should be, no, not 0.125. .250. And if you're thinking about math, that's also the equivalent of 1/8 of inch, 1/8 of inch, 1/4 of inch. So the width of your letters, they should also be 0.125. Of your numbers, 0.125. Your fractions, 0.125. Let me draw a couple of them just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So, letters. You have letters like I and W, which are the only ones that are not 1/8 of an inch in width. Everything else is the same. Like in T and O and M. No, M is not the same as W. It's a V with two verticals. How wide they are, they're all the same. They're all the same. The height, they're all the same. Numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Only the number 1 is the one that's different. Fractions, they should always be drawn like so, with a horizontal bar. And no, it's not touching the numbers. And that's why the height of your fractions are 1/4 of an inch as opposed to 1/8 of an inch. So you could also go to page 50 in the textbook, and that'll help you get an idea of how to draw the shapes of your letters.